Like me, you're probably receiving communications, newsletters, emails from many businesses essentially every day, talking about what they're doing to adapt to the coronavirus pandemic and the related crisis around the world. Now, I'm seeing these coming into my inbox multiple times a day, and some of them are good. Some of them show empathy, provide real valuable information. Some of them, in fact, many of them, are missing. They're either not providing anything really new or valuable, or their communication style is really not connecting with the customer. That's my perspective. And I want to talk about what brands can do in this time of crisis to make sure that they are staying on top of their brand's image and their brand's focus to protect it for not only the current environment, but for growth in the future. So you will see accompanying this the brand management checklist for a time of crisis. The first important step is clear communications. The communications ought to be proactive to customers. They should always be acknowledging the date and time that they're sent. Since things continue to change, one wants to make it clear what information they had at the time the communication was sent. The thing is, it is great to communicate with the clients as long as you're doing it effectively. And I think as you see the rest of the checklist, you'll see what I'm talking about. You want to adapt to the changing environment. So that means that brands have to consider things like online delivery of their products or services, or streamlining their operations. Or maybe it's taking things that they used in a totally different setting for manufacturing or quality control and applying them to a different industry now or a different set of products. For example, I've got a client that makes bike apparel, high-end professional elite bike and triathlon apparel, and they have adapted to now be making masks out of that same apparel because apparently it makes for a nice, stretch, comfortable, effective mask. So they are adapting to the changing environment. Another item on my checklist is to ensure proper trademark and intellectual property protection. Okay, your brand is still out there. You want to make sure you're not missing out on a renewal date and losing protection that the brand already had. You want to make sure that if you are changing products or services or coming up with new brand names or slogans to deal with this environment, that you are taking the steps to protect them. It's really more important than ever to protect them because the cost of a dispute or a mistake when it comes to the brand could be debilitating. You want to put your customers and employees ahead of revenue. This is, of course, a balance and a real challenge, particularly for businesses like restaurants that are being hit so hard, or other businesses that have been forced to close entirely based on the orders of their governors and their localities. But by placing customers and employees ahead of revenue, I think that that's how you gain even more trust and commitment and passion from your customers. And that will help you maximize the opportunities when you are able to operate. Another item on the checklist is to stay true to your core values. If you haven't looked at your core values in a long time, now's a great time. What are the core principles of your business? Why are you in business? What is it that you're passionate about? How do you connect with your customers and clients? Those are great things to revisit, reevaluate, and stay true to, even with all of this noise and crisis around us. It actually keeps us centered. And finally, make plans to grow and launch when the crisis ends. The crisis will end. It will end sooner rather than later. And there will be businesses that are prepared to take advantage of the new economy, the new tools that people need. And so one of the best things you can do now to help manage your brand is to prepare for that. Of course, you have to deal with the current climate, but at the same time, if you can begin preparing for the launch, you're going to be 1, 2, or 3 steps ahead of your competitors. So that's my brand management checklist. Check out the visual that goes with this. If you have any questions, you know how to find me at ericpelton.com. I'm happy to have a conversation about your brand.